Justice Samuel Alito, the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, has issued an order. He issued an initial order. A case was brought by Congressman Mike Kelly challenging the election certification issues that revolved around the situation in Pennsylvania where the governor and the Secretary of the Commonwealth extended dates and made various changes without legislative support. And that case was litigated at the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. They ruled against Congressman Kelly. He took an application for basically an emergency, well, not basically, it's an emergency application for a writ of injunction to stop basically the seating of electors while the case is determined. Now, originally the brief was due from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on Wednesday. But late last night, Justice Alito issued an order saying, no, I want that brief tomorrow at 9 a.m.
What Justice Alito has done is said, okay, look, I want a response to the petition that Congressman Kelly filed from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, not on Wednesday and not after the electors have met, but before that, well, specifically by 9 a.m. On Tuesday, December 8th, which will give the Supreme Court 3 hours between the time it receives the response, 9 o'clock tomorrow, and 12 o'clock when the electors meet, to make a decision as to whether or not, my view, stay the meeting of the electors and the casting of that slate as the Biden slate.
The case is captioned Mike Kelly, U.S. Congressman, and then some other individuals versus the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania General Assembly, and also Thomas Wolf, the governor, and Kathy Bachvar, who, of course, is the Secretary of State for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They have filed an emergency application for a writ of injunction pending the filing and disposition of the certiorari petition. So they are asking for everything, like we got in the Vance case for the president, that everything stays in place.
We already had absentee ballots. We had the traditional way of voting. But this mail-in ballot went in. Now, this is far before the pandemic, so it has nothing to do with the pandemic, but it does have to do with something that if the Pennsylvania legislature, and we have really wanted to do this, they could have done something to look at Pennsylvania law when it came to voting, and they could have done an amendment. They chose to go the first step to start that, but then they abandoned that and put in this mail-in ballot, this no-excuse mail-in ballot, with an omnibus bill that did not go through the proper channels, and it's unconstitutional what took place.
They did not have such authority to change the rules. Nonetheless, they did it. Nonetheless, they promised the citizens of Pennsylvania, hey, you can vote in violation effectively of the United States Constitution. And the key question now is whether or not the Supreme Court will claw back the decision by the executive branch.
The U.S. Constitution, the state constitution, and then state statute all do govern them. And in order to make as significant changes as were made this year, that process has to be followed. In this case, the dramatic expansion of the mail-in program, I know that is of terrific concern to Congressman Kelly, and I think he thinks it led directly to some of the problems that we're seeing. And Jay, I don't think there's any doubt that pretty much everyone on all sides of this issue sees the move by Justice Alito as a direct sign that he does want the court to be able to hear from both sides and actually weigh in to provide some certainty.
If they've done what they should have gone through, the process to change, they could have done an amendment, but that would have had to go before the Pennsylvania voters. They would have had a vote on a referendum to changing the way we vote in Pennsylvania. That did not happen. This got pushed through as part of an omnibus. It got lost in the wash, and all of a sudden now it surfaces and people are looking at it and say, my gosh, how did this happen? It happened because we did follow the rule of law.
What I expect is that tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is going to file the brief in response to Mike Kelly's request for the emergency stay of the seating of the electors. That's what I think. Now, do I know the outcome of that? I absolutely do not. And the reason I don't know is because Justice Alito has multiple options. He can decide it himself and issue a temporary stay while he refers it to the court. He could deny it or send it to the whole court for a decision.